Republican presidential candidate Ted Cruz has decisively won the Wisconsin primary, complicating front-runner Donald Trump's path to the nomination. In the Democratic race, Bernie Sanders scored a strong victory over Hillary Clinton in the Midwestern state. Mr. Trump leads the race, but could fall short of the number of delegates needed to secure the Republican nomination. That would mean a contested convention where voting for candidates starts again from scratch. How does a contested convention work? Mr. Trump said on Tuesday he would prevail despite the loss and took aim at his main rival. Ted Cruz is worse than a puppet, he is a Trojan horse, being used by the party bosses attempting to steal the nomination, the Trump campaign said in a statement. Party leaders are concerned that Mr. Trump would be a weak candidate in the general election and could harm other Republicans' lawmakers on the ballot. Polls show that the real estate tycoon is extremely unpopular among key voting blocs including women, Latinos, and young people. On the Democratic side, Wisconsin adds to a recent spate of wins by the Sanders campaign, giving the Vermont senator a boost before key races in New York and Pennsylvania. Mr. Sanders won nearly every county in the state except Milwaukee, but as delegates are awarded proportionally he will not gain a significant advantage over Mrs. Clinton. Of the 86 Wisconsin delegates, Mr. Sanders is on course for at least 44, but Mrs. Clinton will have at least 28. Mrs. Clinton still holds a sizable lead and most analysts say she will eventually become the Democratic nominee despite her recent losses. While Tuesday's loss was a setback for Mr. Trump, his campaign has time to rebound. The campaign now moves to large northeastern states, where polls show Mr. Trump holds significant leads. Mr. Trump's loss in Wisconsin comes after a rocky week for the campaign, particularly with female voters. The New York businessman repeatedly struggled to articulate his position on abortion. At one point, he called for women to be punished for having abortions, then quickly changed his mind. His campaign manager Corey Lewandowski was also arrested, accused of manhandling a female journalist. The New York Times said that in winning so convincingly, Mr. Cruz had showed he was capable of appealing to more than just the hardline and religious conservative Republicans, but that capturing moderate Republicans and consolidating the anti-Trump vote would be a daunting task. The Washington Post said that the Wisconsin primary had taken the Republicans into a new and critical phase in their volatile nomination battle with a contested convention more probable. USA Today said Mr. Cruz now represents something very powerful for many GOP voters, their last best hope for denying Trump the nomination. The Los Angeles Times said Wisconsin should have been tailored to Mr. Trump's advantage, but the frontrunner made a series of tactical miscues, including insulting the state's popular governor, Scott Walker, and insulting Mr. Cruz's wife, Heidi. Analysis site Vox pointed out that even if Mr. Cruz takes every delegate in Wisconsin, he will still trail Mr. Trump by about 240 delegates.